Good morning. My name is Justin Villery with the Committee of 70. We are very excited to continue our student candidate interview series today. We have Sherrie Cohen, who is running for municipal court judge in Philadelphia, and she's going to be interviewed by 12th grade students in Mr. Garcia's social sciences class at Penn Treaty High School. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Garcia and his students. Thank you both very much for being here, and I'm excited to hear what questions you all have. And Ms. Cohen, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, a pleasure. Can't wait.
If you all have any questions, feel free to ask them for the candidate.
Go, Elijah.
Go for me. About what does I say? Like, I actually don't know. Like, how long do you even have to go to school for that? Because I wanted to be like in law school and stuff, but I don't know like the actual time that they can put in. So I guess like how long do you have to study to be like a judge and stuff like that?
Wow, that's such a great question. Yeah, I hope you all will consider going to college, completing college, and going to school after that. So yeah, I had a complete college, so I have my BA. Then I went to law school. Law school's a 3-year program, generally, unless you go at night, and then it can be 4 years because you're working during the day and going to school at night. And then you practice law. And I believe to be a judge, I believe you have to be practicing. Oh, somebody has their fingers over the screen. Okay, cool. Okay, I believe you have to be practicing at least 10 years before you can run for judge.
4, 3, 10.
I'm sorry?
I said 4, 3, 10.
Yeah.
Be a judge.
But I'm glad you all wanted to meet today, because I certainly want to encourage everyone to consider,
Let me ask you, you practiced, were you I was going to say offense, defense. Were you playing it for defense?
I was doing plaintiff's law for in civil cases. I was suing big companies like
What law firm were you at?
tobacco. I went to law. I'm a Philly native.
What law firm did you work at in Philly?
Yeah, I worked at different law firms in Philly. I can't see who's asking me questions. Is that Sal?
I am. I have a legal background. I was going to be a lawyer.
Oh, hi Sal. How are you? I didn't get to see you yet.
Yeah, I worked at a law firm before I was a teacher.
Oh,
and I was going to be an attorney, but then I started having all these kids. I'm up to 4 kids now. So it really is.
It's not too late. I did not go to law school till my mid-30s.
I worked defense. I did defense work. I hated timesheets.
Yeah. Oh my God.
$2,000 a year. So I had to do them. And then I was explaining to the kids, because I was going to be an attorney. You got to account for 7 hours a day. So you're, even the bathroom breaks, you're billing. There's no such thing as a 0.1, right? You do a phone call, you got to write a note and a memo. So you're trying to keep your billables up. And then I did plaintiff's work before I decided that it completely wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was more fun for me, but it was still took up a lot of time.
Yeah. I did plaintiffs on a civil, in civil law. So I was.
What law firm were you at? I'm curious.
I was in Philly. I had worked out of town because I went to law school in Miami, even though I'm a Philly native, but I lived in different cities till I returned back to Philly. So I went to law school in Miami. I practiced there for a while. Then I came back here. So the law firms I worked here were Gollum and Honig and Brody and Rubinsky. And then I also worked at a nonprofit doing full-time tenant rights work, TURN, Tenant Union Representative Network.
Okay, like community legal services?
It's like community. It's similar. It's similar to,
I got you.
Yeah, it's actually, it's a bit different because it's mostly helping tenants, like counseling and advising tenants.
Tenant rights, okay. That's
on
great
their
to hear.
rights. Yeah, so I've been a tenant rights lawyer, which is really perfect for municipal court because that's where we have our landlord-tenant court. Has
Mhm.
anyone here ever been to any of the courts with friends or family? You want to talk about that experience at all? I'd be interested in
You want to talk about it?
if you want to talk about it. If not, that's cool.
All right. I think those records are sealed. Seamus has a question here. He's our valedictorian and our
Wow.
best baseball player
Okay.
and our best baseball player.
Okay. Both are very important. Congrats.
How does your salary work? Is it based on like your cases, or do you just get a salary? Like, how does
It
that work?
depends on the different types of places you could work. What's great about the law is it's very varied. And if you have a certain interest, you can try to pursue that interest, whether it's like, there's a field of entertainment and sports law. So like what Mr. Garcia was saying was in some firms you have to account for each hour and you have to, be very careful about your billing practices. But that's only certain types of firms. That's more if you're like doing commercial cases or you're doing perhaps insurance defense. But I did plaintiffs work. So I was representing people who were injured by big companies like tobacco companies, like other major manufacturers, and we were suing them. So in those cases, I mean, all throughout you have a salary in law firms, or if you're working for a nonprofit, you have a salary. In some law firms, you get bonuses based on if you do additional hours or if your work is, exceptional, you could get bonuses. So it all depends. But what I love about the law is how varied it is. Like I said, you could do sports law. You could, represent tenants in landlord-tenant court. You can sue companies who are hurting people. You can fight for rights. It's through the law that we have seen an advance in civil rights protections for one group of people after another. Like I'm an openly LGBTQ plus candidate. And I have been active in this movement all my life. And it's through the law that we have made a lot of advances. And I've also been a feminist and involved in seeking, equality for women ever since I was young. So the law can be used. Sorry, Mr. Garcia, your hand is right there. Okay, on the screen. Okay, so that is my interest because my heart is as an activist. I want to increase justice and equity in our city, in our nation, in our world. And the law can be used to advance those rights as it has been, but it can also be used to take away those rights, which is something, that we're seeing right now. But yeah, so whatever your interests are, whether you want to represent people injured in car accidents or, there could be a place for you based on your interests. So it's definitely something to check out.
I'm going to come on too and ask if I want to make sure that we ask you some questions, Ms. Cohen, about your judicial philosophy and why you're running and whatnot. So can you started touching that a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about why you're running for municipal court judge?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Justin. Yes, in municipal court, like I encourage everyone here to check out the court system. And I'll get to Justin's question in just a moment, but most of the courts are open to the public. So you can literally walk in from, and look in one room after another and see what's going on and see how you feel about what's going on. So as I was mentioning, I've had a variety of experiences as a lawyer. And the one that's most appropriate for what I'm currently running for, I think, is my work representing tenants, because one of the courts within municipal court is landlord-tenant court. And many tenants refer to it as eviction court. Like that's where you go and get evicted. And that is where people go and get evicted. But I would like to make the court, as I see it, more fair to tenants as well as to landlords. Because I believe that housing is a human right. And it's very important to protect that as well as follow, all the law that we do have. And we do have a lot of pro-tenant rights law that I have seen some judges not follow because they didn't want to follow the law because they were more landlord friendly. So they were not following the law, and that I, as an advocate, would urge them to do so. So I definitely want to transform what is known as eviction court into more of a housing as a human right court. One of the courts also within municipal court is criminal court. That's where all criminal cases in the city start. Some stay there if they're like misdemeanor cases, but even felony cases will start there and we'll have preliminary hearings there. And if probable cause is found to advance the case further, then the case moves to the next level court, which is Court of Common Pleas. But I believe in restorative justice, and I would like to develop and expand on current models that some of the judges are using, which I'll refer to Judge Stephanie Sawyer in our Court of Common Pleas has a model in her criminal courtroom called resource-based sentencing and supervision, where her goal is to really help provide resources and supports to the accused individual to help move their life forward in a. You able to hear me? Okay. Are you able to hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Okay, to move their life forward in a positive direction. So again, the title of what she calls her model within her courtroom is called resource-based sentencing and supervision. So, so I would like to use that model within my criminal courtroom because I believe people need supports. People need to know what's out there that could help them develop their interests, in a positive direction. And it's like, I think about, and the gentleman who we were just talking to before, who is also into sports, top baseball player. Like in sports, you have a coach. You go to the gym, you might have, a coach. There's so many things in life, if we can afford them, we might have coaches, top CEOs will have coaches to help with, a million different things. So I really think we all need a lot of support. We all need coaches, and especially people going through the criminal justice system. So I would like to be that kind of supportive judge who helps direct people away from the criminal justice system and away from jails and prisons, which I find to be very destructive places. And I would like our criminal justice system to be more of a restorative system. It doesn't mean that we don't hold people to account, but there's different ways of doing that. It doesn't all have to be through the carceral system. So that is a major reason why I'm running, is I have always sought to use the law, as I was discussing before, to bring more justice and fairness into the world. And I've sought to do that as an advocate, both actually as an activist outside of the law and also within the law as an attorney. And now I'm seeking to do that as a judge.
Sounds great.
So more questions?
I have a question. It's a bit of a more simple question though.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the difficulty of your work?
Legal work?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is, I would say it is difficult because you're trying to help, as a lawyer, you're trying to help your client win their case. And it's interesting because every case can have its twists and turns. Like you can first think, okay, I got this one, I'm gonna win this case for my client. And then the other side comes into court with something you hadn't known about, or the judge, takes things in an unexpected direction, perhaps. So, you really got to be on your toes. So I don't know, it's hard. I have had some other occupations. Before I went to law school, I worked in different nonprofits, um, like helping out our elders or bringing young people and elders together in an intergenerational way. So, trying to compare the difficulty of the occupations, but if you like people or you love people and you like learning how systems work and how you can intervene to try perhaps make the system more fair, make it work better, then it's always a challenge. But so I don't know, I would say maybe a 7 in terms of difficulty. I haven't had too many occupations, so a little hard to compare, but yeah, I definitely recommend it if you like a challenge and for whatever reason, if you want to help people, if you want to try to change your world, if you want to have the possibility of a good living, all of that, is possible through this. And then you can be a role model in your community, and help bring more people into this field. Because we could use a lot more people who care about people in this field. Yeah. Thank you.
A lot of research, and then sometimes you get people trying to block what you're doing.
Yeah, it's very adversarial, and you get, some people can be really, you're opposing counsel. Sometimes you feel like you're in a fight,
Battle of the minds.
Yeah, it's a battle of the minds, and it's also of the will and psychology, because your opposing counsel can try to reach you on a psychological level, like trying to undermine you, and you have to
Introduce
realize that.
unexpected discovery.
I'm sorry?
Introduce unexpected discovery.
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes it's a lot of paperwork, but depending on the type of law that you're in. But there's people often in the office who can help you. You're often not, Sal, I think your finger is covering the yeah, thank you.
Can I ask what you think might set you apart from the other candidates who are running for the court? Because I think there's 6 candidates on the ballot, and then there's 3 spots. Am I?
Yes, you are correct. Yes.
Yeah. Can you kind of explain what you think will set you apart?
Well, I think what I'm talking about sets me apart, that I'm, that I'm interested in making the courts more fair. I'm not saying that others are not, but I'm emphasizing that in my campaign. And I think, and also no one else, I believe, has been a full-time tenant rights lawyer. And our tenants in the city can go through very difficult situations. Unfortunately, we have an epidemic of slumlords, and people can be living in very unsanitary homes, inadequate homes, and people are often just afraid to speak up. They don't know their rights, or they're afraid of retaliation by the landlord if they do speak up.
Mm.
And housing is such a basic thing. I mean, you got to feel like you're living in a decent place, an affordable place, an accessible place, and we need more support for tenants, I believe, through our city government and through the courts. We just need the courts to be more fair to tenants. You know,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a champion of the people.
yes, I'm a champion of the people, but at the same time, as a judge, I'm fair to everyone who comes before me. Because as a judge, you know, I would be impartial.
True.
So
Well,
that
landlords are people too.
absolutely,
Even
landlords.
slumlords.
Yes, yes, definitely. So I would want everyone to feel like they would have a fair chance in my courtroom. Because that's how we protect the integrity of the courts, is for everyone to feel like it's fair to them. I'm just trying to correct what I feel has been an historic unfairness in the courts. I think we need to understand that. Even like in our criminal courts, there's a huge racial injustice in our criminal courts, you know, where Black people are more likely to be arrested, to be detained, to get longer sentences, and, you know, for the same alleged, you know, conduct as others. So I think we need to correct these racial disparities, and, you know, we just need to bring more fairness so that the courts are not just slanted to landlords or to prosecutors. People need to feel they will have a fair shake in the court system.
All right.
So who else has a question this morning? Or a comment? Or wants to talk about, you know, if you did, say, go to court with a family member, a friend, you don't have to talk about a personal experience, or something you learned about the courts that you think, hey, this is how I think the courts could be fair.
We're coming up on the switch here. We're coming up on the class switch here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Period.
All right.
Thank you very much for Mr.
Thank
Garcia
you.
for having your students participate. Thank you very much, Ms. Cohen, for joining us. Just a reminder for those watching, Election Day is May 20th. Voter registration day deadline is May 5th. This is a primary election, so in Pennsylvania, you have to be registered as a Democrat or a Republican to participate. Ms. Cohen is running on the Democratic side. So good luck in the election, and we'll see you all on May 20th.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you, Ms.
all
Cohen.
for participating this morning. Nice to see you.